Oh, all right, so 48, lesson 48 is, we did ratio totals, right? So today we're going to do the same thing with ratio. This is the exact same thing, except for we're not calling them ratio totals. We're calling them percent of a whole. By the way, a percent is another way of, in this case, of what we're doing today, you could think of a percent as a ratio. Okay? But you always know what the total is with the percent, don't you?
Yes.
What's the total always going to be with a percent? Oh,
100.
always going to be 100. All right, so set yourself up a ratio box. You're going to need 3 columns. 3 rows, I should say. Your first one is always going to be percent, and the second one is always going to be the actual count. The last row is always going to be the total. So we can call that 100. All right, so look at page 328, actually 327, letter A. And we're going to do a couple of these. Letter A says, Mariah has read 135 of the 180 pages in the book. 135 of the 180 pages in the book. What percent of the book has she read? All right. Here we go. Where does 135 and the 180 go on the actual? Where do you think the 180 goes? How many pages are in the book? I just read you the problem. It's right in front of you. 180. Let's put 135 here because she's read more than half, right? So we'll put it in the second box. What do we want to know? We want to know this piece. What percent of the book has she read? Do we want to know what percent of the book does she have left to read? What do we want to know? We want to know what she has left, or how much has she read, right? So we take what we don't know, we'll call it T over 100 equals 135 over 180. That's 180T equals 135 times 100, which is 13500. What do we have to do? Divide by 180, right? So we have to divide this by 180. Okay? And then we need to come up with a number. Okay, so what do we do? Okay, 135 times 100 divided by 180. Well, let's divide them both by 10. Now we have 18. What do you think? What's 1,350 divided by 18? 18 does not go in 13, but 18 is going to have to go to 135 a certain amount of times. Does this look hard? I'm doing this for a reason. Does this look hard right now? Because we're doing it wrong. I did this on purpose. I want you to see what we did wrong, because this is a common mistake. What did we do wrong? What other number could we figure out right now?
The actual.
We could actually figure out the top number, couldn't we? What's 180 minus 135?
180 minus 135.
145.
Be 45.
Oh, 45.
it'll be 45. All right? All right? That's all the information we have. Now let's figure it out. Now let's do it a little bit easier. All right? So, t over 100 equals 45 over 180. Maybe this way is going to be easier. Maybe it won't be. $180t equals 100 times 45. Okay? We're going to divide by 180 on both sides. If I divide by 10, I get that. If I divide by, what's 18? 9 2? Right? So this is 9 times 2. 9 goes into 45. 5 times, right? And then I have left is 2 and 10. 2 goes into 10 5 times. What do I have left? I have 25, right? Is that the answer to the question? No. What is, this is still what I wanted. What is that then? It's 100 minus 25. So,
75.
while the way before I erased it was a little bit harder, I would have gotten to 75. This way is a little bit easier, and then I had to do one extra step. So sometimes it's in your interest to jump around a little bit. As long as you have the chart, you can keep your information together. All right, so another one. I'm on page 328, letter B. McGregor is growing alfalfa on 180 acres, which is 30% of his farmland. So 30%, 180 acres. What other piece of information do I have? I have the total, 100%. I want to know how many acres he totally has. Okay? Chart's filled out with all the information I know. This is what I want to know. This is the piece I want to know. So that's 30 over 100 times 180 over x, or a, or whatever letter you want to pick. So 30x equals 100 times 180. I'm not going to multiply 100 times 180 because I can do a lot of canceling here, so I don't want to do that. So I'm going to divide by 30 on both sides. 30 goes into 180 evenly. How many times?
6.
6 times. What's 6 times 100? So he has 600 acres. We're making proportions, right? All we're doing is making proportions. Basic chart. That easy. 1 line, 2 lines. All right. The frequency of the letter E in written English is about 13%. So letter E shows up 13%. I always write the smallest percent on top. We know that's going to be 100. On a page of a novel that has about 2,000 letters per page, how many occurrences of the letter E can we expect to find? How many total words on the page? Does it say? How many words, how many letters per page? 2,000. I said words, but I meant letters. That's total again. How many times do we find the letter E? That's what we want to know. Okay? 13 over 100 times or equals, how about E? Over 2,000. Okay? That is 2,000 times 13 equals 100E. Next step, divide. 100 is going to go into 2,000 all the way to make, cross off your letters, to make 20. 20 times 13 is, what's 2 times 13?
2 times 13 is 26.
26. Add a 0.
260.
So 260 letter E's on one page. On average.
But once you find them,
Okay? One more. One line, 2 lines. Let's write 100 right there because we can. We know that's going to be 100. The Springfield Sluggers won 64% of their games and lost 9 games. Okay, they won 64%. They lost 9. Notice I did not put the 9 with the 64%. Why? I said they won 64% and they lost 9. Those are 2 different things, so I have to put them in 2 different places. How many games did they win? All right, this is what I want to know. But I don't have enough information as the chart is right now to figure out what this is. So I need to figure out some other stuff. All right? I just don't have enough information to do it, so I'm going to have to go about this in a different way. Okay, so I need to figure out how many games they played. Then I'm going to have to figure out that, which is what I did on the first problem that we did together. All right? So first off, what does this percentage have to be then? What's 100 minus 64?
100 minus 64.
36.
Okay, so now I want to know how many games they won, but I can't do that right now. So my first step, since I don't have enough information to do that, is to find out how many games they played. So that's 36. Oh boy. I should have put you on. All right, so 36 over 100 equals 9 over W for win. So 36W equals 900. Right? Did I do that right?
Yeah.
Okay. What next?
Then you divide them both by 36.
Divide them both by 36. Okay, if I left it 9 times 100, let me erase this. If I left it 9 times 100, I could do a little bit of work to try. Let's break 36 down. 36 is 6 and 6, right? 2 and 3. Okay, 3 times 3 make 9, right? All right, so cool. So both these 3's get rid of that 9, totally. Don't they? Because if I divide by 9 divided by 3, I get 3, another 3, so they're both gone. All I have left are my 2 2's. Okay, half of 100 divided by 2 is?
100 divided by 2 is 50.
And 50 divided by 2 is?
25.
So I played 25 games. What's 25 minus 9?
25 minus 9 is... 16.
14.
16. That's the answer I was looking for, 16. Okay, so it's going to be awfully tempting on these problems to stop once you get to this answer, but that's not what the question was asking. It was not asking how many games they played, it asked you how many games they won. So we had to do one more step when we got to this point. All right, so you have to kind of pay attention to what it's telling you. All right, I guess I'll have to answer questions after Mrs. Penn.